Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is time for more American Truck Simulator here on DSPGaming. It's November. It's actually Monday, November 3rd, 2025. However, it looks like the game has yet to update again and remove the Halloween-themed content that was in it. As you can see, they still got witches and brew and all kinds of stuff. What I'm hoping is that they will have some kind of a holiday-themed thing. I don't know if they'll do something for American Thanksgiving, which is coming up in a few weeks. I would think they would definitely do something for Christmas, right? I hope so. Anyway, welcome to the show. Time to open up my brew. It is it's the blueberry pomegranate flavored alcoholic seltzer, Avid Imperial. I don't really like this one, but it is my final two of these. Then I'm going to buy a new pack for next week's stream, if indeed we do one next week. So let's get this sucker open. Okay. It just smells weird. It does. It's like really sour. It is. It's a sour flavor, which is odd. Like you would think that you would want sweet apple flavoring. Instead, they made it like sour blueberry, sour pomegranate. I don't know. Definitely not my favorite of the ciders that we've been drinking for the last month or so. That's for sure. But anyway, so tonight for Truck Sim, we got a request to go to LA. We have not actually been driving through California in a very long time in this game. Let's see where we are right now, because I actually don't even recall where we are. Where are we at right now? We are holy moly, in Texas. We are like the furthest possible point from LA. There's no way in one night that we could drive to LA. It would be too long. It would be longer than 2 hours. So the only thing we could do is we could actually go over there and fast travel to LA, which is right here, and do a job out of LA and decide where we want to go. Maybe that's the better way to do it. But how do you fast travel? Forget how to do this. Quick travel. Let's do it. Three grand. Yeah, we could do that. Considering we have 244 grand, I'm pretty sure we can handle that. I don't know if we need to like fill up or anything. We'll check that tonight. But I'm just curious. Are there any good jobs in LA that we could do? That'll be like a fun job. Again, what I think the better way to do this is 2 shorter jobs, because we were doing the insanely long jobs, but then we started going way late and running out of time. I'd rather just actually complete some jobs. So let's take a look. Let's click on LA. That'll narrow down the jobs for sure. Anything unique or interesting that we might want to do. From LA to LA, that's a pretty crappy job. It's like a 5-minute job. Drive it down the street. Arizona. Let's see. Utah. That's not too bad. That would take us through 2 different states, through Nevada and then through Utah. What is that? Just a moving container. It's kind of boring, though. Dumpster, scratch metal. Let's see here. Clout Siffler says, what I like about this game, I think what makes it popular, unlike new releases I'm usually playing and don't want to be spoiled on, I can just hop in here and chill no matter what. There you go. It's a chill stream. That's all this is. A chill stream. It's really not focused on the driving. Let's be honest, I'm not the best player, nor am I really trying to sim anything. I'm just hanging out with you guys while we do a few jobs, right? So there you go. Okay. We can do dumpsters. They go to Arizona. The Utah job is sticking out at me. That one's a longer one, Salt Lake City, Utah, and then maybe we could do a short job. Maybe let's do this, see how long it takes, and if we have time, maybe do a really short job at the end. All right, let's do that, okay? Cool. All right. I got a $2 tip from someone saying, what is the biggest change that I'm now glad that I've implemented? Like out of all the changes, let's say in the last year? See, the question is, are you talking about just my setup? Are you in my streams? Are you talking about my life in general? Like, there's a ton of things. We were just talking about it before I started playing the game tonight. There's a ton of things that have changed in the last 12 months, honestly. Like, tons of stuff has changed for me. So, I guess the question is, what do you mean? If you could be more specific, like, work-wise, overall, personal, then I could answer probably better. Okay, so let's do this one. Let's go to Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay, we're good. It looks like we had refueled and slept, so we can actually just go right to the job. Cool. Ray, thanks for a gifted membership. That's our first of the night. I appreciate that. Ray's 59. Thanks for the membership. Gets us up to 45 of support and climbing tonight. Thank you guys so much for the early momentum. Always appreciate it. He just gifted another one. Now we're up to 48. Thank you, Ray's. Appreciate that. Very nice of you. Where are the pop-ups? Is it just me, or did it not pop up? Hold on. Let's move it over here first of all. Did those memberships popped up on the screen? I missed them. If they did, I missed them. Hopefully they did. Hopefully the pop-ups didn't break tonight. They were working earlier, so I guess we'll find out. If someone super chats or does another membership or whatever, we'll test it. Okay. All right, so let's go. We can just go right to the job. This is the first time in a long time we don't have to actually do any kind of refueling or anything. We actually got it done last time. Headlights are already on. Yep. Okay. There's the exit right there. Volume seems a little low. Oh, you know what it is? I know why. Because I was playing Silk Song earlier, and Silk Song is incredibly loud, so I always have to lower the volume, but not for long because Silk Song's about to be done. Here we go. I just fixed the volume for you guys. Silk Song's about to be completed, so once we beat it, then everything should be at a more solid volume level. Okay, here we go. So we're going to be going left. I'm a little too close. Shit, I might have to move the pedals back. Thank you, Clout, for a super chat. He says, what happened to the gravy you got for DSP Tries It? The reason I didn't use it, it was very simple. I did buy it, and my wife used it with the sandwich. Okay, probably people have no idea what you're talking about. I guess I should explain. So I did an episode of DSP Tries It yesterday. It was the American Thanksgiving sub at Firehouse Subs. It was supposed to have everything on it that you would eat at American Thanksgiving, including turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, and gravy. But all the Firehouse Subs out here have sold out of gravy for like weeks and don't have it. So I did order the sub, and when we went grocery shopping last week, we bought a can of turkey gravy. They said, well, if we do it, that way we can have it with the sandwich. But as I ordered and the food showed up, I realized it would be completely unfair to review the sandwich with the gravy. Because if it doesn't come with it, it doesn't come with it. Why would I eat the sandwich with the gravy and tell you if it's better or not when you can't get it? You know what I mean? Like, if you go to Firehouse right now, you probably can't get the gravy because they're sold out. So why would I then add it, right? That would have been like, I went to Popeyes to do the Hot Ones menu, and they didn't give me the hot sauce, but I just happened to have hot sauce in my house, so I used it with the chicken anyway. Well, that's not fair. That's not representative of the product that I bought and where they forgot to give me the hot sauce. So I changed my mind last minute and said, I won't use it to be fair, and I think that the review ends up being more fair and better when I'm not basically trying to help out the business. I mean, I'll be honest, I was very disappointed because up until that time, I've loved Firehouse Subs. I thought Firehouse Subs has always done a great job, but no gravy, and then they skimped on the turkey too. That was pretty unacceptable. Essentially what I had was a stuffing and cranberry sauce sandwich with a few small pieces of turkey in there. There should have been way more, okay? Anyway, so let's go, and let's go on our first job. Are my headlights on? They are. Okay, cool. I'm already going too fast. What did it say we were hauling? I already forgot. I know we're going to Utah, but I forgot what we're hauling. And then we're going to Salt Lake City, right? It's going to be a decent length job. Klaus says, that's fair. I think that Jimmy John's is the best sub franchise. Do you have them in Washington? There was one here. When I first moved here, and this is 11 years ago, okay, so it was a long time ago. I tried all the food that I'd never had because I came from Connecticut on the East Coast of the United States. So I went literally coast to coast, completely different cuisine. We didn't have Jimmy John's in Connecticut. I'd never heard of it. So I went over there and I got what was supposed to be like their crazy sandwich, like the ultra loaded meat sandwich. I don't remember what they call it. So I got it, and basically I thought it tasted good, but it wasn't anything special. It was just kind of like they just crammed a bunch of meat into bread. It didn't have any special sauces, didn't have, you know what I mean? No seasoning. It was just very kind of basic. And I was like, basically what this should be is like, if Subway actually had decent quality ingredients, this is what it should be. But we all know that Subway has low-grade food ingredient. They just do. It tastes like ass. So that was it. And I basically ate there twice. And each time I ate there, I was like, I'm just not impressed by Jimmy John's. It's like, again, this is what Subway used to be, because I used to live in Connecticut, where Subway actually was in Connecticut. At the corner of the street down where I lived as a kid was the original Subway location. So they always had amazing food until they basically expanded and franchised out and then became horrible. So I had already had really good subs when I was a kid at the original Subway location in the world. So having Jimmy John's was like, it kind of reminds me of old Subway. But that was it. Like, it wasn't like mind-blowing or anything. Like, the first time I went to Jersey Mike's and I got a chicken cheesesteak, that was good. Like, that was like, dude, you can't get this anywhere. It's fresh chicken. They cook right on the grill in front of you. They season it. Then they add a whole bunch of sauce, right? You get it on the cheesesteak. It's all melty cheese and stuff, but it tastes great because it's fresh chicken right there with that flavor from being grilled right there in front of you. Like, that's superb stuff. That's what I look for if I'm going to go and spend a lot of money on a sandwich. I just turned left. They say red light violation. The right was green. The light was fucking green. You saw it, right? The left turn light was green. Idiot cop. Gee, thanks for the ticket, dickhead. Anyway, so yeah, like, I just like Jersey Mike's so much. Like, and then I basically went to Jimmy John's twice, never went back, because Jersey Mike's was always right there too. Like, I'm not even kidding. Jersey Mike's was across the street from Jimmy John's. So I just kept going to Jersey Mike's. And then the Jimmy John's went out of business. They closed. Jersey Mike's basically outsold them, and they went out of business. And now there is not another one near me. So. Clout Simpler says that was before they offered their toasted subs. It's an absolute game changer now. Oh, really? You're right. I don't think they had toasted when I went there. I think you're correct. Did I ever have Blimpie subs? Yes, Blimpies used to be at my local mall. They were good. Did you know that Blimpies was actually the first sub chain to offer toasted subs? They were. They were the only one. Every other sub place was just giving you a cold sub, and Blimpie started toasting. I remember they had one that was like chicken bacon ranch. They had one that was buffalo chicken. They had a turkey club that was toasted, and it would melt all your cheese and sauce in their oven. And then basically Quiznos copied them, and then Subway copied them, and then all of a sudden all the other sandwich places all had toasted all at once. But it was Blimpie that actually started the trend. Back in the day, Blimpie was the best sub place, in my opinion. Jade wants to go back to San Jose again. Well, we'll see. We're staying out in Texas this time, Jade, because we just were there last week, but we'll see what happens. Reminiscent of Quiznos, if I went there before they went out of business. Quiznos still exists. Quiznos does still exist. They're not completely out of business, but they closed a whole bunch of their locations because basically management completely mismanaged the company and screwed over franchise owners. So you can find videos about it on YouTube. Like, there's some documentaries about it that basically the company really, really screwed things over by forcing franchise owners to pay these high fees and get all their ingredients from this one source that was way overpriced. So, but anyway, they still exist, but there's just not a lot of them. Like, there is a Quiznos in my area. If I wanted it, I could still get Quiznos. This is the weirdest fucking thing ever. I've never seen a place like this to pull in sideways. Yeah. Oops, I turned the car off by accident. Okay. All right, we're gonna do the... Oh, guess what? The job is gone, so I guess we're not doing it. So we can either do Page, Arizona, or we could go to... Oh my gosh. If we do Casper, Wyoming, we have to book it and we have to drive straight the entire night without delay. Do you just want to do this one? This is forklifts going to Casper, Wyoming. This is going to be an insanely long job. And by the way, if we don't finish it, that's okay. We'll resume next week. I can't go super late tonight, just so everyone knows. Do you want to do this really long one? Casper, Wyoming? Yes, people are saying that's where apparently King Cobra JFS lived. So people want to go to Casper, Wyoming. Rest in peace to King Cobra. All right, we'll go to we'll do it. We'll do it. Thank you to Mitchell. Mitchell makes vids at a $2 super chat. Long live the king. Do a podcast with Wings. Wings does not want to do any kind of a long-term commitment with me at all, to my knowledge. I can't even get feedback out of Wings if he enjoyed being on the show a week ago. Like, I would love to hear if he how much he liked it, if he would, be interested in maybe showing up again. He basically doesn't talk to me. He has responded to me and basically says, I don't like talking to people online. That's what he said to me. He goes, I just don't like talking to people online. Like, okay, well then how am I supposed to communicate with him? Right? How am I supposed to communicate with the guy? I mean, I don't have his phone number. I can't call him. Right? All I have his information to contact with him online. So, like, here's my idea. I'll run it by you guys, and here's what's going to happen is people are going to tell him my idea now because that's what people do is they just reiterate. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's see what you guys think of this, all right? Where the hell is the job? Is that it? Here it is. I was like, where the hell is it? There it is. All right, I got to turn around. Here's my idea, all right? I don't want to do anything that's a humongous commitment for the guy. Because number one, I know that he's already said that on a whim, he might go back to Lolcow Live if he needs the money. We don't know how the next month's going to go for him. I mean, there is Call of Duty, but he hates the game. He knows Call of Duty is a moneymaker for him. But what's to say that it's going to go super well or whatever? So, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. The way he answered me on the podcast when he was like, oh, I might go back on Lolcow. I think he's going back on Lolcow. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know exactly when. But I feel like he's going to. I feel like he really doesn't want to. But much like Call of Duty, he understands that it's the one major way he can make money. And so he's just going to end up doing it anyway. Regardless if he wants to do it, he's just going to end up doing it, okay? So that's the thing. Like, he can never commit to be doing something ongoing with me if he, at a whim, needs to drop everything to go back on Lolcow to make money. So here's my idea. And let's see if you guys like this idea or not, okay? I would like to maybe every once in a while do some content with Wings, all right? First of all, I really enjoyed the conversation that we had together last week. It seems the general consensus here is that everyone enjoyed the appearance, that there was, good discussion, good conversation about a lot of topics we didn't really flesh out. We didn't get a chance to because it was 2 hours and, we were the first time ever meeting. You go all over the place, bouncing all over topics. So here's what I think. I think that maybe every once in a while, all right, we should do something together like a show just like that, okay? Now, when you say, well, what is this, a dead end? How the fuck do I get out? How do I get out with this load? It's a dead end. I guess I gotta turn around. Let me see if I can turn the truck around. Okay. So, rather than him committing and being like, yeah, let's do a dedicated show together that we're gonna do, like, every week or every few weeks or, it's going to be on a schedule. I don't think he wants to do that. To be honest, I really don't think he wants to do that. If he wants to do that and he wants to come back at me and say, yes, I'd like to do that, that's different. I'm not getting that vibe. I think he's the kind of guy, he wants to shoot the shit every once in a while, maybe get caught up on topics, maybe talk about our history together as content creators and stuff like that. I think that's really where it shines, is doing these kind of one-off shows every once in a while. All right? I'd be okay with that. Like, for example, what if the end of November, we do another show together. And then maybe to end the year, like a Christmas appearance where he shows up on the Level 1 podcast and we hang out together talking about Christmas shit. I think that would be cool, right? I'd like to talk to him about what he did, Christmas traditions when he was growing up, what he does now with his family. Like, what does he do for Christmas? I'd love to hear it. I think that would be fascinating to compare stories and things about Christmas and different things that we like and stuff like that. So Boy, this is a real pain in the ass to get around corners with these forklifts. Holy shit, this is gonna be a real annoying job. So I'm thinking maybe we do something together around Thanksgiving-ish. Maybe it could be right before Thanksgiving, maybe right after Thanksgiving. And then maybe we do something for Christmas. And it's just, basically, he just appears on the podcast, just like we did, last week. We don't have to do it all the time. It doesn't even have to be monthly. I'm just saying it would be nice to do something around Thanksgiving and something around Christmas as like one-off appearances just to hang out. I think that would be good content, okay? Now, here's the thing. I'm totally okay with paying him for his time by splitting whatever profits that we make. So if he decides to show up on the show and there's stream revenue, because he's not streaming his end, I'm streaming it, I would split the stream revenue with the guy. Like, for example, whatever we make when he's on the show, I would split with him. Now, I don't know what we would make, and also it would be his prerogative if he wants to shout out contributions or not. Because the more we shout out live when he's on the show, the more he's going to make. If we don't shout them out, then they're all going to come out after he's gone, in which case, then he's not involved, right? So I'd be down for that. Exactly, like Smart Guys. When I was doing Smart Guys, I was splitting the profits with the co-host, okay? So that's what I would do. Now, it's up to him if he wants to do that or not. He told me he didn't want any money. So if that's the case, he wants to appear and not make any money, that's up to him too. But that's the offer I've got for him. 50-50 split of anything that comes in when he's on the show. Have him appear around Thanksgiving-ish and around Christmas. And each time we could talk a little bit about those holidays, but also talk about how we're doing in our own content, talk about our history as creators. I think it would be great. Okay? And hell, you want to call it? Here you go. Wings and the King. Special edition, Wings and the King on the Level 1 podcast. That's my idea. If you guys like it, let me know. If you don't like it, it's ass, then we don't have to do it. But that's my idea. So, and that's the thing. I wonder if he wants to do it or not. But again, he hasn't answered me. Basically, he just says he doesn't like talking online about anything. So I don't know how I'm supposed to get his feedback. Maybe what'll happen is now you guys will go to his stream and tell him this idea, see if he likes it, and maybe we'll talk about it publicly on his stream, and that's how I'll get his feedback. I know this is the weirdest, most roundabout way to ever get feedback on an idea, because I don't know why he can't just answer me, but he can't. He says that he doesn't like talking to people online, so here you go. Okay? King Ferb says, why not call it Kings of Redemption? What do you guys think about that? The Kings of Redemption. That's catchy too. That's actually probably a more catchy name than what I came up with. The Kings of Redemption. There you go. Shit, am I getting off? No, I'm not getting off. Okay. We need to get to a normal speed. This speed is ass. It's too slow. We got to get up to cruise control speed, and then I can talk more with you guys. I can do the shout out. But right now we're stuck at 45 miles per hour, which is garbage. We got to get to a good speed here. Okay, cruise control. All right. Thank you to Maconium for a $10 super chat. Let's get that up on the leaderboard, Maconium. Thank you so much. That's our biggest super chat of the night, so let's get Maconium on the leaderboard. Thank you, thank you. Good support so far tonight. We're already past the third of our goal to $62. Please, let's keep that momentum going. Remember, the more engagement and support we get, I'll keep this in the rotation. As long as we hit our goal and we get people hanging out and talking and having a good time, this will be once a week moving forward. And again, I think the goal right now should be, can we actually keep this going through the end of the year into 2026? That would be fascinating. I never would have thought that a game like this would have had this longevity, but it has. You guys like when I use the wheel accessory. You like when I hang out and I have a couple drinks with you. So, to ongoing success of American Truck Sim, right, everyone? Let's go. When I go on Wings' show, Wings doesn't have a talk show. Wings doesn't do a podcast and doesn't have a talk show. He just streams games, so that wouldn't even work. How would that work? I'll be honest with you guys, I really am not interested in doing co-op gaming with Wings at this point. I think it's more fascinating to just hang out and talk rather than gaming. Oh, I don't do a podcast either? Then what's that thing that all my trolls complain about that I do in the morning before I stream? And they all say, oh, where's the game? Where's the game? Why are you doing this podcast? I don't do a podcast, huh? Idiot. That's the thing, the dumb shit people say about me now has now gotten to the point where it's so self-hypocritical of the trolls and critics that it's laughable. How on earth can you actually have a point when you contradict yourself in the fucking point? You claim I don't do a podcast, then you complain that I'm doing a podcast instead of gaming. But you can't do both. It's either I'm doing a podcast or I'm not. You're an idiot. Sylvanas, I say Kings now. Wings does not do a talk show. In fact, Wings has outright said he enjoys being part of a show as long as he doesn't have to direct it and run it. He's outright said that. He said he'll do a show as long as he doesn't have to actually organize it and do topics and run it. He just wants to join the show as a guest. He's outright said this before, that this is what he wants to do. So I really, really doubt that he would want to run his own show and have me as a guest. If he did, I would consider it. He hasn't said a word. Here's the truth. I like running shows like that. I like having a guest. I like having someone to talk to and have a conversation with, bounce ideas off of, get answers to questions. I like it a lot. I feel like I would excel at it if I got to do it more often. The problem is I can't because people don't want to do it with me because of my trolls. It's that simple. People don't want to do it with me because of my trolls. They're annoyed that my trolls are going to come after them if they have any involvement with me. So I get people lined up, they're excited, and then they do research, they're like, wait a minute, but your trolls constantly dox people on the internet. Your trolls constantly harass people on the internet. Well, we can't have that. We can't be a part of that activity. So the answer is no. I've had people who actually I had lined up last year to be on the Level 1 podcast as a guest, and they backed out when they found out about the trolling. So I would love to. I think, if anything, as I get older, I do less gaming and more content like that. Abso-freaking-lutely. But there's not much I can really do to make that work because, you know, I agree with people that right now there's a insane group of harassing weirdos who go after people who do something positive with me. Is Boogie a possibility? Why would he be a possibility? What on earth would we talk about? The guy literally does nothing but sit on Lolcow Live now. If he's even still on the show, I don't even know. But the thing is with Wings and me, I feel like we have a lot of similarities with the content creation, with our histories on Twitch and YouTube, with our trolling communities that follow us, all kinds of shit like that. Of course, we're very different people as well, but we have a lot of commonalities. I really don't even know what commonalities I would have with Boogie at all. Alex from Phoenix did a $2 super chat. He says, what if you had, down the line, you had fans as guests? See, again, I used to do that. I used to have people call in who were fans and we would have conversation. But the problem is if I were to do that today, those fans would be systematically harassed. 100%. You know it too. You know, those people would come after them. And they'd find your socials and they'd harass you there and they'd try to contact you at your fucking job. You know, that's how broken these people are. They think that absolutely nothing is off limits and that they can mess with you however they want with no repercussions. So quite frankly, I would advise against it unless someone really did have an online presence that was completely disconnected from their real life in every possible way. Like there was no way that they could find out your personal information and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the only situation where I would say, okay, you know. Get Lumix on? All right, I'll get Lumix on the podcast. Let's see what he has to say. I'm gonna ask you, I'll be fascinated. I'll be like, Lumix, tell us all about the life of a clipping detractor. What's it like to have to watch someone you don't like all day, every day, to find the highlights so you can make a highlight video and make money on YouTube? What's this existence like? I don't know, man. Well, we got to swap here, so I got to slow down. There we go. Blue Mist, I mean, sadly, that's correct. He says, sounds like you are kind of locked into doing shows with people who are similar situations to you, that they just don't have a lot to lose. I mean, you're right. With both Wings and I, we have so many trolls. There's so much toxicity talks at us. Anyway, who cares if we go on each other's content, right? Doesn't matter. The same fucking level of trolling is going to happen to us anyway, right? It couldn't possibly, you know, change. But for someone who doesn't experience that, doesn't have that in their community, someone who has sponsors, someone who has, like, a big positive following, they don't want them involved in that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Thank you, Sharks Fan, for a $2 super chat. Let's get that on the leaderboard. Well, here's the thing. Sweet Codeine says you could do something that's somewhat adversarial, like when you had Stuttering Craig on the show. People wouldn't do anything about that. But here's the thing. I don't want to do that kind of content. I don't want to do constant adversarial content. I don't want to do toxic content. I find it way more fascinating when I do stuff that's not like that, right? Like, okay, I would argue, let's think about this. What was the better interview and or appearance? The interview that I did with Keemstar or the interview that I did with Stuttering Craig? If you ask me, the Keemstar interview was like 50 times better than the Stuttering Craig interview. Only because with the Keemstar interview, we were cordial with each other, we were respectful with each other, we actually talked about some things in a very calm manner. We didn't go at each other, and it ended up being a fun experience overall, where at the end of the day, we didn't want to murder each other, right? The Craig interview was so pathetic because literally it was just the guy completely refusing to admit he did anything wrong when he gets called out 17 times in a row for what he did wrong. And he did, but you lied about WWE champions. What the fuck's your point? You don't have one. You agreed to have me on your show to do an interview. The agreement was not that I have to answer all of your questions absolutely God's honest correctly or truthfully. All I did was agree to an interview. And then after that, you said I could come on your show as a regular guest like everyone else already had and had a good time. You immediately reneged on your agreement. You are a liar, you're a snake, you're a backstabbing scoundrel. It's that simple. There's nothing else about it. And he basically would never get off the fact, well, you lied about a mobile game. So what? Who gives a fuck if I lied about a mobile game? What if every word out of my mouth was a lie during the interview? You still did your fucking interview for free, which is what we agreed to. But he doesn't understand that because he's a fucking dunce, and he wanted a big payday and big notoriety on the internet for the appearance. So when I have him on the show, it's this big, angry argument. He won't do nothing. He won't be cordial. You know, he's just a jerk. He's a fucking jerk. So that's what I mean. Like, that interview, I didn't really like as much. I wish it had gone differently. I wish I could have had like a breakthrough with the guy to let him understand that he was being a disingenuous piece of shit. But you can't have a breakthrough with someone who doesn't have morality or a conscience. He doesn't. I mean, this is a guy who literally time and time again started a business, ran it into the ground, sold it off, and screwed off everyone involved with it. He did it with Screw Attack. He did it with that second business. He's done it again and again. I wouldn't be shocked if he does it with his current show right now, that he runs it into the ground, sells it off to try to make money again. He's a track record of being this kind of a snake oil guy. You know what I mean? This slimy dude. So, not shocked that it happened. I just didn't realize that about that guy until after the fact. But, again, I want to do content that's more positive and meaningful, that builds bridges, that has meaningful conversation, that when people tune in and watch, they're like, that was interesting. I learned something, or, you know, I got something meaningful out of it. Not, I saw two guys who yelled at each other the entire conversation, and they looked like two immature dicks. You know? I don't get satisfaction out of that, to be honest. I don't really feel like I got anything out of the Stuttering Craig interview at all. I think it was a waste of time. As opposed, again, to the Keemstar interview, I think that was a complete constructive piece of content. That one actually helped the internet in a lot of ways. People looked at Keemstar in a different light, and me in a different light. That was a good thing. That's the kind of content that we need. Not people just fucking trying to rip each other's faces off. And that's what it seems like everyone wants me to be involved in, and I don't want to be involved in it. I could have done that. That's what they wanted me to do with the dumb shit that Kino Casino was coming up with. That was just brain dead stupid shit that I refused to do. Okay. Hold on. There's something that I missed here. So Alex from Phoenix did a $2 super chat. He says, this game reminds me of the late bus rides to Mexico. Oh yeah, I used to go to Mexico on buses. I certainly don't have that experience, but it is a really chill, relaxing game, especially when you get like a straight shot ride where you don't really have to pay attention too much. Okay, and whoops, oh my god. I don't want to do that. I hate this touchpad, man. I got a $2 tip. He says, the links people go to harass anyone vaguely associated with you is insane. Random distant family members, police officers who you might have even briefly talked to, delivery drivers, plumbers. I don't think you know about the time SOK contacted someone who did your plumbing. No, I wouldn't know anything about that. Quite frankly. Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I don't think they ever did contact anyone that ever did my plumbing, because I don't think I ever had any plumbing work done until the SOK was actually disbanded. I think the SOK was just full of shit a lot of the time. Like, remember when they supposedly talked to the people who were part of the partner company that I was trying to get a managed partnership with? What were they, Laveria Media or whatever? The people they talked to did not work for Laveria at all. I'm almost positive they made that entire thing up, because the people who they talked to don't work for that company. I talked to two separate people at that company, and it wasn't the people who they ever talked to. So I'm pretty sure that they made the whole thing up. So I'm pretty sure they probably made up this plumber thing too, because again, I didn't have any plumbing work done here until... I think I had plumbing work done... Maybe it was right before my wife moved in, or at the time my wife moved in, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly, but at that point, the SOK was already, like, embarrassed on the internet and disbanded and exposed for the losers that they were. So how the fuck did they talk to a plumber? I never had a plumber here. It's too bad we don't have Dunsfelter here tonight, because Dunsfelter is usually here for these streams, and he's not tonight, so there's a lot of trolling over on Kick, but I'm not really able to moderate it because I'm trying to drive while I still talk with you guys. So please understand, I'm trying to do my best here, but it's kind of tough. I'm trying to drive with one hand and not hit cars and drive off the road while I'm also trying to moderate trolling over on Kick. It's kind of hard. No, I never played the Fist of the North Star fighting game. No, I did not. I have a few mods for Kick, it's just that most of them don't ever want to show up unless I ask them to. Like, if there's a super important special event or something, I'll ask them to show up on Kick and they'll come help. But in general, most of my mods just don't like being on Kick. I'm just gonna be honest, they don't. Because Kick brings the troll element a lot more than YouTube. So they just don't want to sit there and just see toxic shit all day. Or a lot of mouth-drooling idiots saying dumb shit. I'd rather be in a more intelligent place. I'm just being honest. Captain DCW, totally, I hear you, man. I hear you, it's all good. He says that he would be a mod if he could, but he can't show up all the time. What time is it? All right, we're almost to the halfway point of the stream. Another 10, 15 minutes. How are we doing on the job? We made a decent ride so far. But, we still got 800 miles to go. I hope we can get this done. What's up, Game Boy? Good evening. How you doing, man? Good to see you. I hope that we can finish this job tonight. Queen of Romanian, that never happened. If you think that happened, I'm sorry for you. I don't know what to say. You fabricated a situation in your head that never existed. Whatever. Jade says, did I like to go to cons? Well, I only went to conventions for a short period of time, okay? Basically, when I first started on YouTube and I was looking to do variety content, I went to Kineticon once. And then when I became a prominent YouTuber, I went to a few different conventions like MagFest, Too Many Games in Philadelphia I went to twice. I went to DSPGaming convention. I went to New York Comic Con twice. Where else did I go? There was maybe one or two others. So there was a span of like 2-3 years where I was going to like 2 or 3 cons a year. All right. Did I find it entertaining? Sometimes. Like, if you could go there, you could genuinely see some interesting stuff about new games that are coming out, new comic books or TV shows that are coming out. You could see like promotional materials about it that's not on the internet. That was kind of neat. And I liked filming. Like, I remember I went to New York Comic Con and they had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on the floor being played before you could even like see it for yourself anywhere else. And I was able to watch it for a little bit, watch people play it, film it, and stuff like that. That was kind of neat. For the most part though, like, why do you go to a convention? Usually to meet celebrities, okay, that's one. Or to do some stuff, like maybe you wanted to buy exclusive merch or attend a concert. I attended a few concerts that were mostly like video game cover bands or stuff like that. I enjoyed them, I actually did. But to be frank, I didn't love it. You know, it was all right. I actually liked meeting and greeting with fans more than like covering the con. Just to meet people, shake their hands, sign some stuff, pose, do a little panel or whatever. That's where I got my value out of when I went to a con. Outside of that, it was just kind of like, we're killing time, you know. I don't know. The thing is, I think, like, if you really like meeting celebrities and you want to, like, shake their hand, get a picture, get an autograph, then it's awesome. But I don't really care about that, like, at all. I never did. I told you guys, never once in my life have I lined up to meet someone and get an autograph outside of one time. When I was a kid and I was an avid comic book collector, at my local mall, there was a comic book store, and there was a guy whose name was Len Straczewski, I think. I think that was his name. He was the artist of a comic book that was about to come out called Prime, and he was signing autographs. He was going to sign the comic book, you know? Now, I was a comic fan. I had never heard of Prime. I didn't know what the hell it was, but I was like, oh, I can actually get the autograph of a comic book artist? So I went, I waited in line, I got the autograph, and I came home, I was like, I started reading the comics, and I didn't really like them that much. I stopped reading them. Really? I did, like, And then I never really cared ever again. Like, I'm not even kidding. Never went to get an autograph. Never, even there was all these things in my area, I never went. I just didn't care. I don't know. People are built different. For me, like, I'll watch your content. I'll watch the movie you're in. I'll listen to the music you make. But I don't care about meeting you. That's just me. Maybe I'm the kind of guy that just doesn't get starstruck and doesn't really care. Like, oh my God, I fanboy out. I don't think I've ever fanboyed out over like a person ever in my life. So maybe that's what it is. And maybe it's that fan community kind of following is one of the reasons why people really like going to cons. It's just not me. I've just never been like that, ever. Personally, it's like I said, when I used to go to these conventions and I was a guest, I was absolutely baffled why anyone would line up in a line and wait to get my autograph. I don't know why anyone ever wanted my autograph. You can literally every day go online and watch my content on my YouTube channel. Why do you need my autograph? What purpose does it serve? If you like Mark Hamill as the voice of the Joker, you can literally go rewatch Batman the Animated Series every day. You could go play Injustice. Why do you need to meet Mark Hamill and get his autograph? What purpose does it serve? See what I'm saying? Like, I never understood it. And I think to this day, maybe there's something that just doesn't click in my head. Okay, well everyone, we're coming to almost the halfway point. Within 5-10 minutes, we'll have the halfway point of the stream. Can we get some more support so we can hit the goal tonight and keep American Truck Sim in the rotation? Let's go. Let's get some support. The villain says, who's top tier in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3? Honestly, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. When I was playing it, it was relatively new. I know everyone used Cabal all the time. But I have no idea if he was actually top tier. I thought I heard Sector is actually like top tier in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. But I never really used Sector. I only used Cyrax. So I honestly can't answer the question. You'd have to look up tier lists and things for tournament placings and things to try to figure that out. I don't have the answer. Was Cabal top tier? I thought Cabal was top tier in regular MK3, but they nerfed him in Ultimate, so he wasn't nearly as good. That was my understanding, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, this truck and me, we're gonna just dominate this freeway for the rest of the stream. We're gonna make sure no one passes us, because we're gonna maintain exactly the same speed and hold back all traffic. What do you think? All right, didn't work. Yes, we're playing the Sub-Zero Mythologies game on Thursday as the daytime stream. Jade, see, I know. Jade absolutely loves going to conventions and meeting his favorite people, like his voice actors, real-life actors, wrestlers. He loves it. Personally, I don't. I don't know what else to say. People are different. That's okay. It's totally okay. Everyone has different interests and hobbies and stuff, you know? Chill as a Cherry says, do you think you're going to regret spending most of your life inside of a house, spending no meaningful time with friends, and doing anything? Listen, first of all, I had a very eventful life before I became a full-time YouTuber and moved out here. Before 2014, most of my life was IRL shit. I traveled playing Street Fighter for like 15 years of my life. It was constant in-person interaction with people, going to arcades, going to their houses, going to fucking tournaments. That was my life. I was flying everywhere. I was traveling everywhere. In my youth, that's literally the polar opposite of what I do now. All right? So you're acting like since the day I was born, I was sitting in front of a TV streaming games. That's not true. I didn't start doing that actually full-time until 2017. My life was very different, okay? Now, you're talking about now. Now, I am married. I have a full-time job as a streamer, and I'm married. My wife is my best friend. If anything, if I have more free time, you know who I want to spend more time with? My wife. Not anyone else. I don't want to have other friends. I just want to spend more time with my wife, who I don't spend enough time with as it is. So you'll understand this one day when you find the right person and you have that person who you want to spend as much time with as possible and you can't because you're busy all the time, then you'll get it. But the thing is, you're a single schlub right now who's trying to criticize me on my stream and you don't understand it because you're younger than me. One day you'll get to that age, hopefully, you'll find the right person, and then you'll be happy just like me, and you'll get it. Well, a lot of people who criticize me in my life don't understand that the life is great, that I'm incredibly happy with the way that it is, because I set it up that way. Like, I actually... No, you're not. Oh, you're not married. You're such a fucking liar. Ban that guy right now. Dude, you are literally sitting on my stream right now telling me basically that my life sucks. Even though I'm the one with the audience, I'm the one making money, getting healthy, happily married, and you're gonna tell me you're married? No, you're wasting your fucking life watching me saying shit like that to me on my stream. You're not married. No one would marry you, all right? You understand that? No one in their right mind would even talk to you of any kind of a fucking gender. You're the one who sits in your fucking basement all day smelling like fucking stinky ass fucking socks, all right? No one else fucking talks to people like you. Anyway, what a fucking idiot. I have received a generous contribution. A $20 tip, all right. Let's see what this person has to say. First of all, let's get a nice animation going. Okay. I'm not against the idea of having guests on the podcast. I wouldn't want Wings to return. He's someone who isn't capable of owning up to his mistakes and would bring down the show as a whole. Did you get that impression on the first show that he was on? I didn't. But then again, I felt like the 2 hours that we were talking literally flew by so fast that we didn't have a lot of opportunity to really flesh out any topics at all. Maybe if we did, maybe if the show was longer, again, maybe if he was on every once in a while and we talked longer, maybe then we get to a point where it would be like, you know, where it would be like, oh, you know, he's full of shit about something. Like, to be honest, he's the one who brought up the topic about fighting. Oh, you think you could beat me up? First of all, I was like, no, I never said that. What I said was, you would never hit me if we had a fight because I would just dance around you. Dude, I'm like a third of your weight. There's no way you would lay a hand on me because I have the stamina to just dance around you till you tire out. You're going to tire out in just a few minutes. And then he goes, well, I would cut off the ring and I'm professionally trained. I was like, yeah, but if we were going to fight, I would train too. And then after that, just the topic drifted off into something else because I don't think there was anything else to say. You know what I mean? So maybe eventually, yeah, if we had talked longer about these topics, we would have gotten to a point where it's like he's backed into a corner about something and he just doesn't want to talk about it anymore or moves out. You know what I mean? Like, I think in his head, he legitimately does actually think that, like, he could beat me up. When in reality, he would never beat me up in any circumstance unless he jumped me and got the jump on me. You know what I mean? That's about it. That's the only situation it would happen. But I hear what you're saying. Again, maybe you know Wings better than me. At least, I feel like the show went well enough and there was enough interest, right, that drummed up, that at the very least, we should give it a shot to make it be an ongoing thing every once in a while. I don't want to do it all the time because then it would be not special. It would be too common and it would be boring. But to every once in a while have him on, we can talk about, let's say, for example, he comes on the weekend after Thanksgiving, right? So he could talk about all kinds of topics. How did your Thanksgiving go? What did you eat, right? What do you do for Thanksgiving? What did you do when you were a kid? What did you have different things and traditions that you did? Because my traditions today are different than what I did when I was a kid, right? And then we can talk about how are your streams doing? How's stuff been going since Call of Duty came out? You know, how are you doing with things like, I know you've been, your weight has been an issue. Did you make any progress on that this month? You know, just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would be that kind of conversation works. But eventually, if he comes on so much that we get to points where it's like, it feels like the guy's just full of shit all the time. Do you really think I want a guy on the show who's just full of shit all the time? Of course not. But this, I don't know that about Wayne. I don't know him well enough. We haven't talked enough. We've talked once. You see? So I'm totally cool with having him on again. I'm a fair guy. I'm gonna give him a chance. He seemed really cool the first time that he was on. I'd like to have him on again. What's up, King Michael? Good evening. How you doing, man? Good to see ya. Cracker Jack says, you know, I've been married 31 years and I know where you're coming from. Well, there you go. When you find the right person, okay, and especially if you're the kind of person that you're a busy person. I'm busy all the time working, right? I wish that I could spend more time with my wife. I can't, right? So now, if you haven't noticed, oh God, look at this. I just lost control because I just had to make a crazy turn out of nowhere. That's crazy because if the speed limit is 55, how was I supposed to make that turn with the truck at 55? It wasn't even possible. Anyway, basically when you get to a certain level of being busy, right? You wish that you could spend more time with your significant other. She's my best friend. That's who I want to spend time with. I don't want to go out and have 10 other friends who I want to spend a lot of time with. Coworkers, like someone to come on my show and we do work together or something, that's different. But I want to spend time with Kat, you know? Someone who doesn't get that. Here's the funny part too. This guy in the stream who's calling me out saying, oh, I don't have any real life interactions or whatever, but you're married, right? So why aren't you with your wife right now? Why are you sitting on my stream criticizing my life? If you're married, why aren't you spending time with your wife? Would you not like her? Does she not like you? So when we turn it on itself, we can easily analyze the situation and figure out where the real problem is. The problem isn't me, the problem is this idiot whose life sucks and wishes he had my life. So now he's got to try to bring me down in a way that makes him feel better about himself, right? Now the speed limit is 75. We're just about to split the party, actually. Let me finish my drink. I haven't even finished my first drink yet. Oh, come on. A vehicle inspection now? Fine. With 600 miles to go, I do believe we will finish this job tonight. I think we might have picked one that, because it's such a straight shot, that it won't be that big of a deal and we may be able to finish it. If we don't finish it, we don't. I cannot go super late tonight, okay? Just so everybody knows. I went super late a couple weeks ago, and that was a big mistake. I shouldn't have done that. It's just funny to me because when people say stuff like that to me on a stream, or when people criticize me online and they're like, you don't have any friends. Like, wait a minute. Well, I have people I'm friendly with. I'm friendly with my moderators. I'm friendly with certain people on stream. I'm friendly with other people online as well. I still talk to people from the FGC from back in the day who I'm friendly with. Maybe I'm not friends because I don't have a lot of time to spend, but I am friendly with people. I'm married happily. I'm having a great time with my life. I wish I had more time with my wife. So what is your criticism exactly? It's like, well, you're not fitting my exact interpretation of what your life should be. Well, when I was single and in my 20s, I had a ton of friends. I had tons of friends who I spent time with. We would travel and go to tournaments together. We would hang out outside of that, go drinking, go bowling, hanging out, play pool. We did all that shit because I was single and I had time to do it. I wasn't full-time employed like this. So what is exactly your point? I think what it is, you get these people who are younger and immature, and they think that everyone should just live up to their standard of what's happiness or whatever, and it's not. Like, everyone's different. Everyone has a different life. That's okay. It's not your place to be criticizing how other people live, especially if they're happy and they're not hurting anyone. Then let them be themselves. Let them be happy. One person, maybe, never wants to be married whatsoever, but wants to have a lot of friends for their whole life. That's fine. There's no reason for you to criticize that. They can do that if they want. And then you might have someone who's happily married and doesn't have time for friends outside of that because they're busy. That's fine too. Why is one correct and the other wrong? I'm really at a loss. Like, if everyone lived exactly the same life, had the same goals, the same archetype they wanted to fill in, wouldn't life be boring as shit? If we all just went down the same exact path, had the same aspirations, had the same desires, the same things that we like and don't like. It really is. Variety is the spice of life. The fact that we have people who are so different from each other actually is what makes life entertaining and interesting, in my opinion. But I guess some people don't see that way. It's like, my way or the highway, agree with me or disagree with me. If you disagree with me, you're a villain. You're a horrible, heinous villain, right? We can't have agreements or agree to disagree on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that mentality at all. I just don't. When I was younger, I was very pig-headed like that, but since I've been a content creator, since I've been a YouTuber, my mind has expanded dramatically, and I certainly don't think in that mindset anymore, that's for sure. Well, before I drive off the highway, let's see here. Someone sent me $2 says, did you ever look at your analytics? I'm curious to know what type of person watches you the most and least. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have that data at a glance, at a whim, at any time, but I would recommend we do that on like a podcast or something. I can't drive and give you that data. You know what I mean? When I'm playing a game like this, I have to actually, at the very least, I do have to drive. I can't have my phone open to be reading you analytics. But if you ever wanted to come by the podcast and we could have that kind of discussion during the QA segment, I'd be down for that. Okay. So, thank you guys for the support. Time to split tonight's stream. When I come back, I'll have a new drink, and we'll finish this job. And it looks like we have to sleep soon, too, right? Like, the sleep's going to hit us any second. So, all right. I'll be back shortly with more Truck Sim.